Hi, Jonathan from Live Love Coach. Are you or someone you know feeling stuck, searching for direction, or wanting a clearer sense of what's next? You're welcome to connect with me. Whether you're exploring practical next steps or seeking God's leading, I'm always open to a genuine, no pressure conversation. Welcome back. Who's seen the movie The Mask? Now, it was quite a while ago. Some of you watching may have not even been around at the time, but it was 1994, and it had Jim Carrey as the lead actor, and he was this guy who was, by all accounts, he was down and out. I think he'd broken up with his girlfriend, or something had gone wrong anyway, and he's slowly walking along the riverfront, feeling pretty sad for himself. As he walks along the water, along the edge of the river there, he looks down and he sees this mask floating along near the edge of the river. So he ducks down, he picks this mask up, and it's a pretty unassuming mask. It's looks to be carved out of wood, and as he turns it over to look on the backside of it, he sees a shimmering sort of light in the back of it. He's like, well, that's weird. And he brings it up to his face, and as he brings it up to his face, there's no returning. That mask just grabs onto his face, and all of a sudden he turns into this guy who's got a green head and is just outrageously dressed in a bright yellow suit and all sorts of crazy things like this. And he ends up going on just a massive outing every night as he takes this mask and he goes out on the town and really just gets into it. And it's quite a hard case movie. It's this idea of this guy who was pretty much just a no-hoper and not really going anywhere. When he puts this mask on, man, is he just the man. He is going for it. He is the entertainment for the night. He is just crazy. He really upsets some people, and things will go on. If you're wanting to have a watch, it's quite a cool movie. It's we call it a cartoon and real life animation movie, and it's quite intriguing. I actually quite enjoyed it. That brings me to a point that I've been thinking about, and about how many of us wear masks. We have these masks that we carry around. Now, they're not physical masks. They're not masks that we stick on our face and nobody can recognize us. So my wife and I like watching some period set programs on Netflix and those sort of services. And there is the ones, where they have the bulls and the rich and the poor and all that sort of class sort of thing going on. But the rich quite often have balls, and they'll get into that and they really go all out with their decorations and their costumes and the ball dresses and everything they wear. And sometimes they have a masquerade ball and they'll put on a mask. Now, some of them walk around hanging onto a stick, holding the mask up over their face, and others of them, a bit more sensible, and they tie a mask onto their face so they don't have to walk around hanging onto this thing all night. But the idea is that, you won't know who's behind the mask. Who's there? Oh, well, it's pretty hard to figure it out, but really, you know who's there. You know who the person you're looking at, because if you know the person, you know their demeanor, their general look, their voice, and you'll be able to pick up who's actually behind that mask. Unlike, Superman. Superman takes his glasses off. Wow, you wouldn't even know it was Clark Kent. Man, he's the man. I think it's quite kind of funny how we bring that sort of thing into our lives. As I say, we don't have physical masks that we put on, but a lot of us do walk around with a mask on, and this idea that we have to be a certain person in front of certain people to be able to fit in, or to be able to be the person we need to be for our job, or when we turn up to something, we've got to be this type of person. And sometimes, those masks aren't about us trying to be something different. Sometimes those masks are just inbuilt. They are who we are. When we go to work, we carry one mask. When we go home, we have another mask. It's a persona or a idea that we have that, this is who we are when we're in those areas. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with that. Quite often it's quite a good thing to have a certain set for at home and a certain set for workplace and that sort of thing. There's a band that I quite like. I'm just thinking on the fly here with a song they talk about, being a grunge or, that sort of thing, wearing all the dark clothes and, dark makeup and all the rest. But the guy says, you've got to grow up and you've got to go to work in your suit and tie. You take that out on the weekend, wear that at home. Don't try and bring it into work, because you're just going to have trouble. And yes, there is some context to that hey, it could be kind of right. But what are these masks that we are carrying around, that we are wearing throughout the day? Are they actually our true persona? Are they really who we are? And sometimes we just don't even realize we're doing it. Like for example, myself, I've had essentially a mask on for a number of years, just been, trying to be a certain type of person, doing certain sort of things, toning down my, normal personality, shall we say, and kind of hiding it away, because not everybody's going to like it, or not everybody's going to enjoy it. I'm actually kind of quite a bubbly, free-going sort of guy, but when I'm around some people, I'll just chill down, won't really say much or do much or really seem like that outgoing. I'll just be sort of quiet and that. Sometimes that's fine, but when it becomes the norm and you're really just living into that mask then becomes our normality, and that's what we continue to live in. And it may not be actually who we are. And when we can see who we are, and that can be done through personality tests or different talking with different people and just getting into different groups, we can actually open up and actually become somebody that we are. I mean, sometimes we need something that's a bit different to push us past who we think we are into who we actually are. As I've grown over the last couple of years and doing different things, I've been taking different personality tests and just working through things, really understanding who am I, what am I doing, where am I going, and just removing these layers or these masks from me that I'm thinking, hey, this is what I'm like, but really, I've sort of buried some parts of myself, put them aside. I've been a tradesman for 30 odd years. Is that really who I am? A lot of people hide behind their position or their job. That's who they are. That's who they understand themselves to be. And is that really, what we are? Are we just our job? Are we just the person who turns up and does a certain type of job? I was a fitter welder for about 11 years. Does that mean I'm just a welder? No, I've been involved in audio-visual security industry. Am I just a technician? I'm actually quite more than that, and that's where, with looking at my personality and the things that I've been working through, I can see that I'm more people-focused. And for me, the technician and the welding positions were more task-focused. And so I really just sort of started to see, different avenue. It took a bit for me to be able to sort of go, hey, I don't just have to be in a technical job or a trade-based job or anything like that. I'm able to move outside of that. I'm able to take on something new. And sometimes as we learn these things about ourselves, as we work through these things, we can understand those and we can see where, we can make changes, where we can move forward, do different things, and being able to, talk to different people, find new things there. And I mean, even to the point, I'm exploring hobbies. What am I actually interested in? I mean, I grew up as a kid, my dad liked fishing, we had a little boat. But is it really me? I mean, we go away at in the new year in January for a week's holiday down to the beach down in Whakatane way. And I've often gone fishing, but this year I was sort of like, is it really what I enjoy? It's nice, it's peaceful, chuck the line out there, sometimes catch something, sometimes you don't, but is it really what I'm interested in? And so I really just sort of looked at it and thought about it and sort of going, I bring all this gear to go fishing, do all this stuff, but is it really what I want to be doing? And sometimes we've got to explore what we're thinking, challenge those things that are in our head, the things that we've just always done. Is that who we are? Is that what we want to do? What are the things that really bring us joy and interest and really help us, want to be able to move forward, want to be able to do things that we're going to really benefit from? And, it's yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with some masks. Sometimes you need to put a mask on to just get through a situation or to make things happen, or that mask of bravery when you're in a position where you're just not quite sure and you're thinking, oh man, you need to step up. You need to step outside yourself sometimes. You need to put on a mask or put on some big boy pants and just step into the role and really make things happen, and take that opportunity. I've for a lot of years I've probably sat back and gone, I'm not the guy that can do that. There's this inner sort of voice that sort of says, you don't have the ability, or you don't have this, or that guy's bigger than you, he should be doing it, or they're more outspoken than you. But the reality is that I have a lot to offer. I have a lot of things to put across. I've got a lot of life experience, and I've been growing and learning that where I need to step up and I need to say, hey, I can do this, I can be a part of this. Actually, here's what I think we should be doing, instead of just sitting back and going, yeah, okay, we'll go along with that. That's fine, not a problem. And actually stepping outside of myself and being the person that I believe God made me to be able to move forward, to be able to challenge things, to be able to really take in things and just explore new things, because there's so much out there that we just don't know, and we've got such a short time here really in the scheme of it, that we really need to be exploring things. Every day is a new day. Every day brings a new challenge, and we can spend that time hiding away, or we can spend that time going out, exploring, understanding, and just getting a vision for where we want to go. Figuring out a new life or a new plan or whatever it may be, or just making changing things up. Or you may be quite happy where you are. There's nothing wrong with that. If you understand who you are, you know where you're going, you've got clarity, you've got some direction, some purpose, great, stick at it, go for it. And don't listen to people. I know when I first got into business, a lot of people would challenge us. They would challenge us on, why are you doing it? There's no money in business. There's no good doing that. You're better off in a job. And why are you doing this? And you soon learn who to talk to and who to share things with, because let's face it, a lot of people don't like people to try something different. If it's outside of the box, if it's not the mask that you've been wearing, you are a welder. How can you be a technician in the audiovisual industry? How can you run a business? You've never run a business. What's going on there? You make no money. All this sort of stuff can get you into a place where you're thinking, man, what is the point? Should I be doing this? Man, nobody's supporting me. Everybody thinks I'm going to fail. But, you've got to live into yourself. You've got to push into what you think your purpose is, where you think you're going. Try different things, give them a go, work through it, and see where you come out at the end. So what if you don't make it? There's this real idea that if we fail, that it is a failure. But I like to think, after many years of having tried many things, I've failed many times. But you know what? I've learned many times over as well. That's the big thing, is that the only time it's a failure is if you don't learn from it. If you turn around and do the exact same thing over and over again, then you aren't learning. And you need to learn, you need to move forward, you need to take that change, you need to understand where things went wrong, and you need to move into it and really just change what you're doing. I've done jobs where things didn't go right. Okay, next time come around, I won't do that again. You learn things, you get knowledge and understanding, and you can use that. And there's stuff that I know that some people just would have no idea about because they haven't been in the industry that I've been in for so long. And there's stuff with coaching that I'm learning. I'm trying to understand and figure out, and we're on a journey, and no journey is ever really that short. Particularly in life, journeys can take a long time. So we need to look at our journey. Where are we on that path? What is going on? I've just spent some time with some friends who are just encouraging me and saying, hey, look, the journey that I'm on at the moment, God's got a plan. It's only going to happen when He wants it to happen. And we've just got to sit back and enjoy the ride. Take that journey, move along, Don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. For me, I have that faith in God, and so I believe that things will all work out in the right time. And so I just take that to heart. I make the most of what I'm doing, and I try and push forward and make things happen where I think I should be going. But if it doesn't work out, then I know that door will close, that something else will open up, and something will come of things. And it can be challenging. At the moment I'm trying to wear kind of two masks, if you want, one in the technician field, one in the coaching field, and so it's very, for me, very different thinking, very different concepts, and I can interchange between those. I take the moves and the challenges and just work my way through it, because in the day, that's what's going to happen. We just got to take steps forward. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We just got to take another step forward, keep going. We wake up tomorrow, we do things again, we try another thing. And the thing is, just as I said, don't think of failures as the end. Learn from it. What went wrong? What was it that didn't quite work out right? Figure that out, move on, try something different again the next time. Give these things a go. Don't be afraid. I've tried multiple different things. I tried beekeeping for about 3 years as I got a bit bored in the middle of my business, and I was like, I want something a bit different to do. And beekeeping was pretty cool. It was quite interesting, very physical job, but it was great. It gave me something different to focus on, something different to work at, but the costs and whatnot involved in it, and the scale that I needed to get to, I just went, no, this isn't for me. This isn't going to go where I want it to go. And so I left it. Now, was that a failure? In a way, yes. But what did I learn? Well, I learned how to look after bees, which was great. I kept bees for 3-4 years, did reasonably well out of it. But I made a choice. I didn't fail at it per se. I made a choice because I realized that I wasn't going to get what I really wanted to achieve out of it in the long term. And so I thought, no, it's time to move on, to make this change, to make that decision to move and actually just put it aside, go into something else. So, what's the mask that you're wearing? What are you carrying around thinking that's who you have to be? And nothing can ever change. That you can't peel away that mask and reveal your true identity. There's lots of ways we can look at that. There's lots of things we can do there, and that's what I'm interested in doing for people, is trying to help them understand, to gain some clarity, gain some direction, gain some purpose for their lives, and really just move forward. Because I think I've found that myself. I found that there, and it's not an easy journey. I come backwards and forwards all the time. I'm going 2 steps forwards, 1 step back, or 2 steps back, 1 step forward. It's always changing. It's always a journey. Life is a journey. There is no one answer fits all. There is no, I've got it now, I'm done. Things come along, challenges happen, and we've just got to keep on moving, keep on pushing forward, keep on putting on a new mask, if you want, that new identity, bring it out, make it happen, and just really work through, what's going on, figure it out. So, what's your mask? Are you, the Jim Carrey, putting on the mask, that makes your face green and makes you go all great and bold and, being able to do crazy things? Or are you that person who's just looking to make a bit of a simple change and realizes that there's something not quite right with where you're at the moment, but you want to try and figure that out. You want to move forward. Who are you? What are you thinking? What are you doing? These are all questions that we can kind of ask ourselves, and they're great. It's a good thing to challenge our thinking, to think about where we're going, what we want to do. If you need help with that, then I'm here. I'd love to have a chat with you, talk about how we can help that. We can have a look at personality tests, help you understand who you are, how you work, how you move through the day, and why you do certain things. I mean, when you understand your personality, some things start to make sense. A bit of a light bulb can go on and go, that's why I do that sort of thing. Okay, that makes sense, and it helps you understand how you can be even more of yourself, how you can really lean into who you are and really make a difference in this world and those around you and really push forward. So I hope you found that interesting. I really enjoy talking about these somewhat interesting ideas and different things, and just really thinking about where we're going, what we're doing. I'm always sort of challenging myself to really look forward and see what's coming, and just try different things, try new things, give it a go, have a bit of fun, and see where you end up. But I hope you've enjoyed that, and look forward to catching you next time. Bye.